Vincent van Gogh, a name that today symbolizes artistic genius. But in his lifetime, he was a struggling painter, misunderstood and tormented by inner demons. In just a decade, he created over 2,000 works, yet he sold only one painting before his tragic death. This is the story of his life, his struggles, his loves, and the people who shaped his journey. Vincent Willem van Gogh was born on the 30th of March, 1853, in the Netherlands. He was named after his stillborn older brother, a loss that haunted his family. His father was a Protestant minister, and Vincent grew up in a strict religious household. As a child, he was quiet and introspective, but by his late teens, he had worked as an art dealer, a teacher, and even a missionary. Though he failed in most of these careers, he struggled to find his place in the world. Vincent only began painting in his late 20s, after deciding to dedicate himself to art. His early works, like The Potato Eaters, were dark and somber, influenced by the poverty he saw around him. He moved to Paris in 1886, where he met Impressionist painters like Paul Gauguin and learned about brighter colors and looser brushstrokes. But even in the art world, he felt like an outsider. He suffered from extreme mood swings, possibly due to bipolar disorder, epilepsy, or lead poisoning from his paints. Van Gogh longed for love, but his relationships were tragic. He proposed to his cousin Kivos, who rejected him. He also fell for Sien Hornik, a poor woman with a child, but their relationship ended in despair. Throughout his life, he depended emotionally and financially on his younger brother, Theo, who was his greatest supporter. Their letters give us a glimpse into Vincent's mind, his dreams, his struggles, and his unbearable loneliness. Theo became an art dealer and had a stable income, and wasn't just giving money, he was sacrificing his own life for Vincent. He supported him even when his own financial situation was unstable, and tried to promote Vincent's work in the Paris art scene, though with little success. Despite his personal struggles, Van Gogh's artistic style flourished. His use of bold colors and expressive brushstrokes created masterpieces like Starry Night, Sunflowers, and Irises. One of the most striking aspects of Van Gogh's work was his brushwork, dynamic, thick, and full of life. His strokes were not just marks on the canvas, they were expressions of his emotional state. Van Gogh was also a master of color, but unlike the Impressionists who sought to capture the fleeting moments of light, Van Gogh used color as an emotional tool. His famous yellows, blues, and reds were more than just visual choices. They were symbols of his mood, of his connection to the world around him, and of his search for meaning in a sometimes chaotic life. Though Van Gogh is now seen as one of the pioneers of Post-Impressionism, his approach was not widely embraced during his lifetime. His bold use of color and emotional intensity was at odds with the more traditional styles of the time. During his life, Van Gogh exhibited his work in only a few galleries and received little recognition. In fact, most critics and the general public viewed his art with skepticism. His paintings were considered too raw, too untamed. In his letters, Van Gogh himself expressed frustration with how little his art was understood, and he struggled with loneliness and mental health issues that only worsened over time. He sold only one painting in his lifetime, The Red Vineyard, for 400 francs. Today, his works are worth millions, but during his life, he was dismissed as a madman. In 1888, Van Gogh invited fellow artist Paul Gauguin to live with him in Arles, hoping to create an artistic community. But their friendship was volatile. After a heated argument, Vincent suffered a breakdown and, in a now infamous moment, cut off part of his ear. Some theories suggest he may not have done it himself. Some say Gauguin, who was a skilled fencer, may have injured him during a fight. But we may never know the full truth. The event marked a turning point. Gauguin left Arles immediately, and Van Gogh was soon hospitalized. They never saw each other again. Despite their falling out, Van Gogh still admired Gauguin. He wrote about him in letters and even painted self-portrait with bandaged ear, which some believe was a subtle tribute to their time together. Gauguin, however, spoke about Van Gogh with mixed feelings, sometimes praising him, other times describing him as insane. In later years, he even exaggerated the ear incident, claiming Vincent had chased him with a razor. Although he also acknowledged Vincent's genius. Years later, he wrote, "Van Gogh was a madman, but one of those madmen who are closer to the truth than we are." In 1890, Van Gogh moved to Auvers-sur-Oise, where he painted some of his most haunting works. On the 27th of July, he was found with a gunshot wound to his stomach. He died 2 days later, with Theo by his side, at the age of 37. The official story is that he shot himself, but some historians believe this may not be true. Shooting himself in the stomach is a strange choice for a suicide attempt, and he managed to walk back to his inn, about a mile away. Instead of shooting himself, Vincent may have been accidentally shot by local boys that had bullied him, but that he may have taken the blame to protect the boys. Regardless of the cause, the world lost a genius that day. He died 30 hours later, on the 29th of July. His last recorded words were, "La tristesse durera toujours," the sadness will last forever. Theo was devastated by Vincent's death and never fully recovered. Within 6 months, he also passed away, suffering from both physical illness and deep grief. Theo's wife, Johanna van Gogh, played a crucial role in preserving Vincent's legacy. She published Vincent's letters and worked tirelessly to promote his paintings, leading to his posthumous fame. In the end, Vincent and Theo were buried side by side in Auvers-sur-Oise, France, their graves, a symbol of a brotherly bond that shaped art history. Art lovers and Van Gogh fans from around the world visit the graves to pay their respects. People often leave sunflowers as a tribute to Vincent's famous painting series. Today, Van Gogh is celebrated as one of history's greatest artists. His pain and passion live on in every brushstroke, reminding us that true art often comes from suffering. What do you think of Van Gogh? Did you know of his tragic life?